Floor is yours, Amy.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name's Amy. I'm here in Fredericton. I'm actually in Devon, so I'm a fairly close neighbor to the farm, and I love the farm and everything that it does. I had an opportunity a couple years ago to contribute a little bit more of my time there. Then I got a damn job last year, so I was pretty MIA. But anyway, it's a really impressive place. I hope that you get to eventually get your hands dirty. But yeah, super productive, small space, and I admire it deeply, and I've had a really great time working there. I did get to do a little bit of a yoga. So yeah, I forget if I said that yet. I'm a yoga instructor, and are we good?
I hope so.
Okay. Something just popped up like crazy on my computer. Okay.
Yeah, my computer changed as well. I don't know why though.
Okay.
You guys are screen sharing. We're looking at the crop maps right now.
Whew.
Why?
I was like, I don't know where those came from. That scared me a lot.
I think that
It's kind of exciting to see it though.
I don't know why that's.
I think we're looking at Eugene's screen is what it said.
Eugene.
Eugene hijacked us. Is that what you mean?
he's like an aversion.
Yeah, so Eugene, hit the share key again, and we should go back to normal.
I thought that was my boyfriend's code, so I was like, oh my God, don't touch anything.
You might be able to hijack it by trying to share over it.
Okay.
I'm gonna not touch anything, but I can still see a few people. Thank you, whoever did that.
That might have been me doing something. I don't know. I think we're back.
Okay, I can see, it looks like the typical previous screen, so we're good. Good?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it looks good to me. So anyway, last year I did a little bit more of a lower body thing, a little bit more squatty, but that's very awkward with the camera framing. So I just wanted to share a few upper body things with the group today. The big thing, if you remember anything from my talk, I'll say it right off of the start. You need to get your arms behind you and above your head every day, because whether you're farming or whether you're laptoping, your arms are right here out in front of you. So that will create too much space in your back. Your shoulder blades will be often too wide and your chest will kind of shrink. And that's when you get that like dull middle back pain. So that's true for farming, because you're picking stuff, things are being held at that chest level for the most part, unless you get sent to the orchard and you're picking at stuff over your head. And you'll find pretty much anybody, when you do overhead work, you'll get fatigued quite a bit quicker. So it's very good for you to reach above your head, but we don't do it enough. So I would just encourage you to do it more. Does that make sense so far? Okay, cool. So yeah, we live our lives with our hands out in front of our chests, whether we're picking plants or working at the computer. So as often as you can, kind of reach behind you and reach above you. I'll take you through a little flow. So just have your arms free. You can stay seated or you can stand. Is that cool for everybody? Okay, all right. So let's bring or lift your right hand up. Nice. It'll feel like a bit of a, looks like an oath, feels like an oath. And then take your left arm forward. Awesome, thank you. Okay, put this right hand on your left chest. Yeah. Yes, perfect. Okay. So if you reach, kind of overreach your fingers for the screen, do you get kicked by a little muscle or you get a little jump under your fingers?
Yes.
Kind of?
Yeah.
That's your, a few of you don't have mics on, but that is your pec or one of your chest muscles. So I want you to imagine that there's an additional handprint behind you, and then keep your arm straight, but very much do the opposite. So pull your shoulder way into your body. Oh, that was good. We'll do just 2 more like that, and then we'll let go of the hand. So reach for me. And then the important part, so the opposite of what you do all day, is this backwards pull. Pull back. Do 1 more. So reach for me and feel your chest. And then as you pull back, try to feel your back. Okay. Keep this left arm up and then add the right one. Okay. Good. Both hands forward. So that's typically where they are all day. Keep the straight arms and then suck the arm bones back. So we'll do a couple more of those together, but I want you to really feel your back. And another point to get across is sometimes instead of stretching, you want to just stabilize. So forward. And then go way back. Awesome. 2 more and then we'll add on. Go forward. And then suck back. Forward. Back. And then you may not see this perfectly, but feel strong in your pinky fingers. And then let's pull the arms beside us and a little bit behind us. Your back should feel nice and strong there, maybe your chest open. As your arms stay behind you, don't go far, but almost pretend that you're clapping. So pull the palms together. Then you should feel like your chest really opens. And we want that open chest. Let's do 3 of those. So find yourself reaching for me. Overreach. Pull the arms into the body. And then with a strong back, pull the arms back. When you get to this backwards reach, kind of pretend that the palms are clapping. So that should feel really, really open in the chest. It looks very good with what you're doing. Couple more, reach front. Stick them out. Suck them in. And then down and back. 1 more, and then I'll add some stuff to it. Reach front. Overreach. Awesome. Suck in. Down and back. All right, I'm going to add a tiny bit to this. Reach towards me. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. This is really good, like mid-laptop stuff too. Reach. And then little add-on. Let's, with straight arms, suck in, and then do more of your traditional row. So you can bend your elbows now. Yes. Cool. And then go back. Nice. That same thing, sort of squeeze the palms together. Bend. Nice. Reach front. Pull the shoulder blades in, bend, nice, and then reach back. Cool, I'll do 1 more like that. You can bend, I might have added on by accident, straighten, suck back, bend the elbows, and then straighten them back behind you. And then relax. Okay, so this is, again, the communication's a little bit different, of course, with Zoom. So that was kind of more like a class than a workshop. It was like, follow what I'm doing and see how it feels. But I'm hoping that shoulders maybe feel looser, but at least kind of warm. Any feedback or any questions about that from anybody?
You always amaze me, Amy. I'm always pleasantly surprised by your things. It's always, should I hear things though? I like heard things and when I was moving. Should I hear things?
Oh, that's good. If you hear things like little snaps, we don't really want big pops, but if you hear little like crackles and snaps, that's good. I call that cleaning behind the fridge. You're just kind of, and again, sort of what I said at the top, it's like a little bit of an atypical, like you're perfectly capable of moving your arms behind you, but for some reason we just don't. So part of the snapping is just like unfamiliar territory. Your body is like, okay, I can do this, but I haven't been here for a while.
Well, that and I'm old. You know, one of the two.
It's experienced, very experienced.
There you go.
Okay. So yeah, I love it's simple. And a lot of the things I try to keep it simple. Like I like to say it looks like nothing because it doesn't look like much, but if you do it with a little bit of intention, it's like, oh yeah, that does make a little bit of a difference. So that's little flow. I may kind of just put together something, like I said, like maybe a YouTube link that you could refer back to refresh your memory. But you know, as you are both laptop or if you are working physically at the farm, like just honestly doing 5 of those makes a big difference. So you can treat moves like that as something that you do intermittently, or you can do like a big kind of chunk at the end of the day. Other questions before I show you just a couple more things? Did it feel okay for everybody? Thumbs up, thumbs medium, thumbs down? Good. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll give you the crowd pleaser now. So this is a neck stretch. So this one is a little bit more stretchy. Then I'll show you a little bit more overhead type stability as promised. So we'll do kind of Scouts honor. We'll take our oath again. So raise your right hand. And then I'll get you to, love it. Then I'll get you to place it. You can go on skin if you can, but you can go on your shirt as well. But put your hand right under your left collarbone. Yep. Okay. So this plays a little bit on like some massage therapy work. It's working on your own little tissues. So stay for a second and just kind of clamp, kind of like wiggle your hand on your pec. I saw some people do that. And then get a firm grip and just without kind of wiping the hand or without removing it from the body, just pull straight down to the floor. Yep. It almost feels like you get neck space already when you do that. So, and mind the left and the right, the mirroring, but side bend to your neck to your right. So bend away from your hand. And then keeping the hand pulling down, do what's called stargazing. So without twisting, just chin up. And hold and breathe. Nice. And do a little chin tuck. And then you can come back to center. So that for most bodies will get like, could get ear, jaw, the front of the throat. So I really love that just as a relieving stretch for, you know, in addition to having our hands forward, sometimes we'll kind of put our like chicken our neck into it. So it's a good reversal of that. I'll take you through the second side. So if you left hand, and then, so it should cross your body, make your handprints, make its way under your right collarbone. Good, and you're pulling generally kind of down to the floor. You could even use both hands to kind of fix your muscles down. It's also the idea of like when you're making a bed or like putting a tablecloth over a table, you pull both ends tight. That's sort of why we have the handprint on the chest. So keep pulling on your right chest tissues, side bend to your left. Nice. And then chin up. And then do a little chin tuck and pop the head vertically over the body. Good?
Super good.
Super good. Love that one. You may not find that like the front of your neck is not like a place where you're normally like, ooh, I'm uncomfortable here. But even if you can test it out, even if you find tension in the back of your neck or in your shoulders, try that stretch and see what it does. Like just affecting the front of the body and seeing how that helps you. Any questions about that one or any feedback, anything?
Is there a way to stretch like the center? Because there's the lateral muscles, but like this one here.
Yeah. So it would be awesome to do the kind of do it in the order that we did. If you do the individual sides, and then we can do the center. So let's pile both hands on and hold right onto the chest. So you can get more of that straight up pulled down to the floor. And then same thing, chin up. And then slowly chin tuck. So kind of like to come back out, just the way that I had taught it on the two sides, just don't whip yourself out too quickly for any one of those. But yeah, you can, once you get used to it, you can play with it a little bit. Like you could floss, so you could go up, like give a little bit of movement to it, but just never, just watch it if you ever feel lightheaded. Yeah, thank you. Good question. So yeah, side, center would feel really great. I also like to do that one in the shower when the water's hitting you. That's really nice. Okay. I'll give you like 2 more moves. So is that cool with everybody? You're fine for time? Okay, great.
Very good. You're doing it.
Okay, awesome. So going kind of sort of back to that flow. I'm a little delayed. Let's do an overhead one. So let's, with bent arms, sort of like a bicep curl, and your palms kind of, yeah, perfect. Let's put the thumbs on or as close to the shoulder heads as we can, right? And then let the bent elbows point towards me. Love that, okay. And pull them a little bit together. And keeping sort of avoiding this, like keeping them kind of close together at shoulder width, let's say. Let's now tip the elbows up. Nice. And then again, not getting too messy, keeping them kind of narrow, reach up. Good. Nice. And then the elbows will stay tipped up as you put your thumbs on your shoulders. Good, squeeze them a little closer together and then point them at me. Okay, so I'll do a couple more of these and then I'll show you a more obvious way to do it. So tip up, but then almost like seeing the elbows in the corners of your eyes, try to keep them narrow-ish as you reach up. So if it does feel fatiguing and difficult, that's normal. With the elbows tipped up to the ceiling, thumbs to shoulders. Elbows to me. Let's just do one more like that. Tip up. Reach up. Nice. Elbows still point up as the thumbs hit the shoulders. And then the elbows point forward. And then a little bit more, so this is kind of moving into weightlifting, a little bit more classic than that. If you pretend that you're holding a tray, or if you've served at a restaurant, and then just push up. And then bring the fingernails, let's say, back onto the shoulder. So the elbows narrow as you come down. And then up. Cool, 2 more. Yeah, it's a lot. Let's do 1 more. And then a little recovery. Lace your fingers. Flip the palms up. And this is sort of a natural one. We find ourselves doing this often. Let's make it a little bit fancier. This is like a standing cat-cow. So if you make almost a question mark, push your palms forward, drop your head round your back. Good. Push your palms forward and then come back up with the fingers laced.
Oh,
And just
good.
2 more. So kind of hollow out, palms forward. Good, and up. And 1 more. And then you can relax.
That was awesome.
Doesn't that feel great?
That feels so great.
Yeah. And again, kind of like the other ones, it's always a little bit surprising, like what gets tired or what gets, what creaks and cracks. Cool. Questions? Feel good? All right. I can give you 1 more or I can quit. It's up to you guys.
Oh, keep going. I'm digging it. It's hard to gauge feedback on this kind of platform, but man, I'm right with you here. It's great.
Yeah. But it is, if you're with me, that's great. Yeah. But if anything's confusing, let me know. It's somewhat straightforward. It should feel good. I know that we all kind of had, or most of us kind of had like, with the tray, it gets fatiguing. So, it's almost more strength than it is, stretch. So that's, it doesn't take much, like doing, 5 of those a day, 10 of those a day, just to keep that part of the body alive. Especially like the way that I think about it is just like, so when you're asked to do something like that, you have a bit of stamina and you can perform. Again, I remember like being in the orchard, like, so you want to have a little bit of strength for those types of things. But yeah, I'll give you a little neck stretch that'll get more of the back of the neck. So the place where you usually get more tension. So let's reach the right arm out to the side. And do thumb down, so your palm would face away from me. And then let's, again, the arms behind the body. Let's tuck this arm in behind us. Good, good, good. And then don't force it, but you can kind of walk the hand up the back. And that feels pretty cool already. So you got your right elbow bent and your right arm kind of fixed behind you. I might turn my back to you for a second. Look left. And then tuck your chin and your nose to your left armpit. If you want to add on, if you need more, the free hand can kind of put pressure on your head. Yes. So your nose is kind of going down towards your left foot, or the kind of diagonaling down to the floor. And just slowly release. So you kind of take it piece by piece, slowly fixing the head back over the body and shaking that right arm out from behind you. And then just between sides, going back to some of the chest opening stuff, simple but effective. If you bring both arms to a T with the palms facing the screen, and just squeeze the shoulder blades, sort of the strength that you located before. Yeah, perfect. That's just great. And then we can coordinate a bit. Left arm stays, you can drop the right one. And turn that thumb down so your palm faces back. Good. And then same thing, that's with the other side, that slow reach in behind the body, followed by a little wiggle of the hand up. Good. And then look to your right. So you look away from the bent arm and then eventually tuck your chin towards that right armpit. Yep, and then you can add the free hand, the available hand could apply pressure to the head. And then slowly sneak your way out from there. Feel good?
Feels super good.
Good.
So, Amy, I noticed I was tighter on one side than the other. Is that normal?
That is normal. Yeah, it could be. Sometimes the tighter side is the one that maybe works more or is a bit more rolled in.
Yeah, I'm left-handed, and I was tighter on my left side, and that's definitely when I work more.
There you go. Yeah, so it's good to do it on both, but you could toy with like spending a little bit more time on the tighter side, but always make sure to do both if you're doing like a unilateral thing. Oh, hi, Claire. All right, cool. One quick thing, I do have a little cheat sheet, some notes out in front of me. I'll just add one more thing, not necessarily movement, but more of a concept. So these are, a lot of what I'm showing you is like recovery, but while you are working, again, I won't do lower body, but in terms of your arms, if you kind of float them both out in front of you like this, kind of like ballet-ish. And then so you pretend you're like preparing something, like working on a potted plant or working in the ground. To exemplify a bit of pull strength, if you weave your right arm under your left, thank you. And then don't go too far, but if you just kind of use your armpit to pull down to the floor, yes, you'll see how your neck gets kind of longer and more defined, and maybe your sides feel a little bit stronger. Maybe. Try that on the other side. So if you weave, kind of blockade an arm, and then if you use, I call it armpit, we're just getting our lats really. If you pull down, you'll get this instant neck space. So if you bring your two arms out in front of you, and you'll see, you not to highlight ballet, but you can learn a lot from that. They do a lot of work with their arms, having their arms in really sustained difficult positions, but it's that like armpit and low end of the shoulder blade that makes it sustainable. So if you have your two arms out in front of you, but then if you just do a little bit of a pull down, yep, and that's sort of how you work. Like thinking of the tips of your elbows and your armpits being heavy and going towards the ground, that'll really change how you work. And so it prevents this, right? It's basically the opposite of that stress. So that's something to think of. You'll have to see how it feels in action, but that would be a big thing that I would tell you sort of in action while you are at work, to kind of pull down on the armpits and the elbows and just see how that treats you. It should make your neck feel longer. And just, yeah, try to catch yourself if you're doing too much of the forward head stuff, sort of not always looking directly at your work, maybe looking a bit above it. And that's also kind of that purpose for the stargaze, that recovery sort of neck stretch. Cool? Sweet. All right. Can I do anything else for you? I just have Mike is gonna, he's got a Zoom date. We're in the Zoom world. He's got a Zoom date at 10:15, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one thing for you, but I'd like to open it up to anybody else first. If anybody else has anything, please speak up. Going once, going twice. What I have for you, Amy, is any advice for lifting? Any lifting procedures?
Yeah, you can do like that same, finding those same like armpit muscles is really something to think of. So you want to, when possible, of course, we find ourselves with like awkward, you know, asymmetrical, funky things that we're lifting, but do squat. So when you squat, don't totally duck the feet, but like kind of 45 degree the feet, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like not like a turbo turnout. If these are your feet, you kind of want your feet like 45. But yes, like, yeah, squat when you can. And then when you move in with your two arms and your chest, you can let your chest do some work, but just don't forget those armpit muscles as well. And just like classic stand up from your squat, you want to just squeeze your butt and you find your heels. So again, going back to, it's very similar to the upper body, how we use too much of the front. We'll use too much of like the thighs and the quads. You got to put your butt into it. So if there's weight in your heels, for the most case, you will sort of like automatically use your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, your butt. So think, do a squat, don't totally do a duck foot. So about 45 degrees for the feet. When you stand up, use your butt, use your heels, and that should help you out.
I'm practicing over here.
You're practicing?
Yep, got a chair. The heel thing is great advice. Yep, I can notice a difference because when I first went to go pick up, I usually almost always have my weight on the balls of my feet. Heel thing is great advice.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it just sends more of the energy backwards, and you just want to include your butt muscles and your hamstrings more. Yeah. Most of the lower back strains just come from that, like being too forward in space, so that you end up kind of like hanging. So the more that you can put your butt into it. I tend to not really teach a lot of like core, like belly stuff. That matters too, but your butt is what's going to save you, because your butt is a shelf for your spine. So put your butt into it.
It's a great quote. Your butt is going to save you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, try that out. Or you don't have to try it now, but like, yeah, when you go into your squat, you kind of just sit down. It doesn't have to be too fancy on the way down, but the way up does really matter. So find your heels, try to find the armpits, and yeah, and just stand up really strong and proud.
He was like, what? Okay.
I hear a tiny voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on my end.
My dog didn't bark at me. Usually she does not like Zoom. She is like, why are all these people in our house that I can't see? Awesome. Okay. Good.
I totally appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that helps.
Does anybody have anything for Amy before we go? All right, I think you're free, Amy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, enjoy the rest of your first big day.
Why, thank you. We sure will.
Yeah, good to see you.